Hey, true believers. It is November 12th, 2018, the day Stan Lee died. And I spent the day at a garage sale buying dozens and dozens of comics written by the man himself, Stan Lee. So I think that's what Stan would have wanted me to do today. Now, what happened was this grandfather passed away, and he left all these comics to his grandkids and his family, and they put them up for sale at a garage sale today. And the stuff you're seeing now, I got for $2 a book. Yes, that's right. First appearance of the Invaders for $2. By the way, got both of those $2 each. They had 3 bins of $2 comics and then 1 bin of special high-priced special issues. And let me tell you how they sorted them. The young girl who was in charge, she was probably about 20 years old, she took all the 10 and 12 cent books and put those aside in the special high-priced bin. And then everything else, in other words, anything that had a price tag higher than 12 cents went in the $2 boxes. Now here you see a bunch of issues of Spidey Super Stories. This was the Spidey comic that was written for little kids, came out in the 70s, and it doesn't come up that often for the simple reason that most true Spider-Man fans, true Marvel Comics fans, didn't buy this book. I was the #1 Spider-Man fan back in 1975 when this book first came out, but I bought the first issue and I said, well, this was written for children. I'm like 10, 11 years old. I'm like, I don't want this book. This is a kiddie book. So I'm not going to say this book is rare, but I will say that I've bought lots of collections of Bronze Age comics, and it doesn't come up that often, and people do have nostalgia for it. So it's, let's say it doesn't come up as often as most other Marvel superhero books from the 70s. Let's put it that way. First appearance of the Liberty Legion. So I was very surprised to find all these books at this garage sale that no one was there for. Like, it was the second day of a 2-day sale. The sale started on Sunday, continued on Monday. And even though today's a holiday, I'm sure there's still a lot of people have to work on a Monday. So I almost didn't even go to the sale because they didn't have any pictures in their ad online. And I don't like wasting my time. The sale was 40 miles away. So I'm not going to drive 40 miles. How many times can I do this? When you go and you look at the comics and there's none there, or they're junky, a bunch of Archies or Richie Riches, or they've already been cherry-picked, or in many cases, someone has already come and bought all the comics before you even get there. So I wrote to the seller Sunday night and I said, do you have a lot of comics? And the seller actually wrote back and said, yes, I have a lot of comics. So I said, all right, I'll make the leap of faith. I will make that drive. This is a promotional giveaway comic from AIM Toothpaste. I never saw this one before. And so I did. I drove the 40 miles this morning. I'm not going to reveal the city just yet because they still have more books that I'm going back for later. But, and it's first appearance of Nebula, $2. Greatest Darkseid cover ever. Now, I was very impressed by the condition of the books. And this is in an original owner collection. And, you know, the grandfather, he passed away. He left behind, as I said, 800 to 1,000 books. And there's even a missing bin somewhere in the house that they can't find. And at one point I saw, like, Hulk 170. I thought, ooh, there's a Hulk 181 here somewhere. But I didn't see it. But there is that missing bin. I also didn't see a ton of Amazing Spider-Man comics. There's one from the 70s, but I didn't see any silver Amazing Spider-Man. And I mentioned that, the girl said, oh yeah, I think the missing bin is all the Amazing Spider-Man comics from the 60s. So we don't know if they'll ever find it, but fingers crossed. I got her information. I am going back in a couple days for more. These are all like the #1s, the giant sizers that came out in the 70s. When I first started buying comics in 1974, these are the ones that were coming out. They're twice the size of a regular Marvel comic. And it was a chance for a little kid like me to get a #1. So these were a lot of fun for me to get back then, and they're still fun for me to get today. They really take me back. Not much DC in this collection, but there was a little bit. It's one of my least favorite comic book covers ever. It never sells well for me. I think because the cover is 2 shirtless men fighting each other, it just doesn't look like a superhero comic. It just looks like a wrestling comic. It's a reprint. #1 of Amazing Spider-Man, sorry, Web of Spider-Man, that's a $10 book maybe. This is Todd McFarlane's first Amazing Spider-Man. That was a good $2 investment. Now, here we go, check out this one. X-Men 95, third appearance of the new X-Men. Got this for $2. It's a decent looking book. Presents well. Key issue, Death of Thunderbird. I couldn't believe I saw that in the $2 bin, but then I also saw this. And again, it's a 25 center. It's FF Annual number 3, The Wedding of Reed and Sue. But because it was a 25 center, it went in the junk pile. And that's a nice find. Now, talking about nice finds, yes, I found this in the $2 box. And it's a 50 center, so of course it went in the junk box. Giant Size X-Men number 1. One of the most valuable comics from the Bronze Age. It's a good-looking book. On the front cover, the back cover is pretty jacked up. It's got some nasty stains on the back cover, which is unfortunate, but I'll show them to you. You can see there's like some water damage, some staining. Not great, but front cover still looks pretty solid. This book, if it was in better condition, could be worth $1,000, $1,200. In this condition, I think I might get $200 for it. We'll see. So that's the end of the $2 books. Sorry, let me show you that one. Now, there were a bunch of other books that had super high price tags on them, and I asked the girl, the very nice girl who was running the show, I said, how much are these? I said, these price tags are scary. For instance, this one has a price tag on it, says $150. And each one of these books has a price tag of hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Apparently, Grandma is on a fixed income, needed the money, and she was hoping to make hundreds of thousands of dollars off these books. But fortunately, cooler heads prevailed. There was a cousin who came in and priced all these books based on some insane price guide. Maybe he just made up the prices. But even if they were all CGC graded 9.8s, they wouldn't get these prices. I mean, this one says $125 on it. I'm sorry, that's not a $125 book. This one says $200. So the cousin who graded these books apparently stole a bunch of them. I don't know which ones he stole because I didn't see them. But I'm very happy with what was left behind. So who knows if maybe he stole Hulk 181. I don't know. How much is this one? $35. That's reasonable, actually. That's a beautiful Neil Adams cover, unmistakably Neil. Death of Professor X, they marked it at $200. It's not a $200 book, but it's a great Silver Age key. The Wedding of Yellow Jacket and the Wasp. Where'd they get that one? I have $160 on that one. No, it's not going to sell for that much. And again, what happened with these was I made a pile. I made a stack of the books I really wanted. That's one of the best covers ever. Thank you, John Buscema. And I said to the girl, well, how much do you want for them? And she said, make me an offer. So I took the stack and I said, $200? And she said, sure. And I said, well, what would you have said if I said $150? And she said, oh, no, Grandma would kill me if I let you have it for $150. So I said, all right, this is a great price for $200. I got 37 of the, what do you call them? The $2 books. This is the second appearance of the Vision. And I got 28 of the $5, well, it worked out to about $4.75 a book. I'm saying $5. Just this one has a price tag on it, $525. It is Submariner number 1, but you're not going to get that much for it. $300 for the return of the Mimic. Not even the first appearance, just the return. Love this cover. So colorful. Great, great cover. It's just a really, I like colorful covers. And that's, anytime the Hulk's on a cover, it's going to be colorful because of this greenness. Commandy number 1. So when you do what I do for a living, this is exactly what you're looking for. An original owner collection, never been cherry-picked, except for the ones that the cousin stole, but obviously he still left some great books behind. Who knows, maybe he just stole a bunch of modern ones, I don't even know. Collection spans the 60s to, I think there definitely were some 80s in there. Not much beyond the 80s, but he just passed away 2 months ago, so I guess he was still picking up the occasional books here and there. Now I'm going back for more. There's tons more silver, not just the missing bin. There was a whole bin of what I call the $5 books that I left behind, and there were some good ones in there. So I will be going back for those in a couple days. I only brought a couple $100 because, you know, it's just a garage sale. You don't ever expect to find this beautiful collection of silver and bronze books at a garage sale. But that is why I do what I do. People inherit comics all the time. They don't know what to do with them. It's too many to look up. Look, they tried looking these up. They wrote these ridiculous prices on them, like $225 for this one. No one's going to pay those prices. And thank goodness the girl who I dealt with was extremely reasonable. She recognized that the prices were insane, that no one was ever going to pay them. She wants to get rid of the books. She wants to sell to me. I don't think I sold any comics on day one of this sale. So on this day, we want to remember our veterans. We want to remember Stan Lee, who I believe may have been a veteran himself. And we want to remember all the great Silver and Bronze Age superhero comics from Marvel. That's all I got this time. But I'm going back for more, so watch for part 2 of this video coming soon. Till next time, I'm Barry Dutter, and we'll see you in the funny pages.